Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to All Praise Picks. Today we're looking at the MLB. We got the Detroit Tigers playing against the Los Angeles Angels in Los Angeles on June 27th, 2024. Currently, the Tigers are 37 and 43, which is fourth place in the AL Central, and the Angels are 33 and 46, which is fourth place in the AL West. So both these teams have a pretty close record, and both teams are a few games under 500. Looking at their recent games, I am leaning towards the Angels in this one. Detroit just finished a series against Philadelphia in Detroit and now have to fly across the country without a day of rest. Meanwhile, the Angels have been playing in Los Angeles for their previous series against the Oakland Athletics and looked pretty well in their series. So I am leaning towards the Angels continuing their good play and keeping this game close and potentially winning this game. But I do have three parlays for you guys on BetMGM. As always, I'll break down the lines, give you my thoughts, and hopefully if you tap in, we can all win. So these are the first two parlays that I have at plus 120 and plus 125. As I mentioned, I am leaning towards the Angels in this game, so I have them at plus 1.5 runs in the first 5 innings and plus 2.5 runs in the full game. Essentially, not to lose the first 5 innings by more than 2 runs and to not lose the game by more than 3 runs. And I'm backing them really in the first 5 innings because they've been hitting the ball a lot better than the Tigers have, especially when the Tigers play on the road. Detroit is a bottom 10 team in hitting and runs this season, and they do have the 7th highest strikeout rate on the road and also the 8th lowest hits per game on the road this season. But as you see in this parlay on the left side, I also have Jack Flaherty to have more strikeouts than the Angels starting pitcher, who's Davis Daniel. Daniel, he's having his first start in the MLB, and I think the Angels chose this game versus the Tigers as his first start because, as the numbers show, they don't really play well on the road, especially in terms of their hitting and striking out numbers. So I think that this would be a good game for them to bring him up from AAA. But Jack Flaherty in his own right is one of the greatest pitchers this season. His numbers overall in his starts, he's 5-4, which with a 2.92 ERA and a 2.76 expected ERA, and his WHIP is only at 0.97. So he's been playing pretty phenomenally on the season, and his numbers at home and on the road are pretty comparable. Over his last 7 games, he's had over 7 strikeouts in 5 of those games, and he's only gone under 6 strikeouts once in that span, which was a road game versus the Texas Rangers. And while the Angels have been playing better overall, they haven't really been playing as good as the Texas Rangers in terms of how well the Rangers can hit at home. And I think that this is just going to be a lower scoring game. So in the first 5 innings, I did back the home team because I think they should be able to keep Detroit from scoring a lot of runs. And even though it's Daniel's first start in the MLB for the Angels, I think that he'll be at least play well enough to keep the Angels in this game, especially in the first 5 innings. But I do have Flaherty to have more strikes overall, just because the Angels, even at home, can give up a lot of strikeouts. The Angels have the lowest hits per game rate in the last 3 games at 3.67, and they're playing a much better pitcher than they did against the Athletics in Jack Flaherty. So I just think that Flaherty should be able to play very well in this game and have more strikeouts. But taking a look at the parlay on the right side at plus 125, I also have the first 5 innings going under 6.5 runs total, and the total game to go under 13.5. So essentially, for there not to be more than 7 runs scored in the first 5 innings and no more than 14 runs scored in the total game. But I also think that the Angels should be able to keep this game close in both the first 5 and the full game, so I have them at plus 2.5 in both parlays. But those two parlays at plus 120 and plus 125, if you bet 1 unit, for example, having 1 unit as $100, you'll have a 120 or 125% return on your investment. But I just included these 2 parlays in case you wanted to back a team, or if you preferred to back a total. But I am leaning towards the Angels in this game because they just have been playing better overall in terms of their hitting and do have a higher chance of scoring, in my opinion, in this game, especially after Jack Flaherty is relieved from this game. And as always, I would just suggest you guys have financial consciousness and overall management of your bankroll when deciding to place these parlays if you do decide to bet these with me. And this is the last parlay that I have at plus 350. It's more so like an accumulation of what I think will happen in the game overall. So as I mentioned before, I think that the total will go under 14 and a half. And I think in the previous parlay I had it at 13 and a half. But essentially, I just don't think that a lot of runs will be scored in this game because both teams don't really hit the ball well. And even though the Angels have been playing a little bit better in terms of their hits per game thus far, they still were lowest in hits per game over the last 3 games and are playing a better pitcher in Flaherty. I also have Flaherty to have over 17 and a half total pitcher outs in this game. And essentially what that means is that he would need to pitch 6 complete innings or just go over 6 innings pitched, which would total 18 total outs, 3 outs per inning. And I think that he'll be able to do it. The Angels have the 10th highest strikeout rate at home this season, and as I mentioned before, their hits per game are extremely low, and their runs per game at home this season is 7th lowest. So I think that Flaherty should be able to pitch very well in this game. He also has a 33.3% K percentage, which is one of the highest in the MLB, and I think that he'll be able to pitch in extended innings, especially past the first 5 innings, and all he has to do is pitch one more inning past the first 5 innings in order to go over this line. And because of that, I also have him having the most strikes in this game. I think even if Daniel pitches more than 4 total innings in this game, I don't think that he'll have more strikeouts than Flaherty, who's a phenomenal pitcher. But I do also have Davis Daniel to have under 2.5 earned runs, and that's more so leaning towards the Tigers just don't play well on the road, and because they've been a bottom 10 team in hitting and runs overall this season, I just am leaning towards him in his first start. He should be well rested, and he should have a good matchup in this one. Looking at the Angels overall, they've been playing well, especially in their last series versus the Oakland Athletics. And I think that the Athletics are a little bit comparable to the Tigers, especially looking at the Tigers' road numbers in terms of their hitting and runs. So I think that Daniel should have a good chance of going under 2.5 total earned runs in the innings that he pitches. I also have the Tigers at plus 2.5 for the first 5 innings, even though I think that the Angels could keep this game close too. In the first 5 innings, I think that the Tigers have a pitching advantage with more experience with Flaherty. And as long as this is a low-scoring game, I think that the first 5 innings could go plus 2.5 for the Tigers and plus 2.5 for the Angels. But just for this parlay, I prefer to have the Tigers as the plus 2.5 run line spread in the first 5 innings because of everything that I mentioned with how well Flaherty has been playing. But I also have the Angels at plus 2.5 for the full game. And I'm just more so just backing their bats, especially versus the Tigers' bullpen once Flaherty is taken out of the game. And I think at plus 2.5 for the full game, in a game that I think will be low scoring overall, is pretty valuable. And I really just prefer to back the home team that has better bats overall and that have been playing better overall in terms of their scoring. But at plus 350, if you bet 1 unit on this parlay, that's a 350% return on your investment, and you also have that the unit that you put on the parlay back, so a potential payday of 450%. But as always, just have bankroll consciousness and an overall understanding of your decisions when making this bet. But I appreciate you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more WNBA and MLB videos coming out later this week. But until next time, peace out.